We do have a lot of headlines, not some great ones right up on the top. Good for the Pistons because they did win this game. They beat the Magic. They're 15-18 on the season. All 5 starters with double figures. They had Jaden Ivey leading with 22 points. But it's Jaden Ivey we want to concentrate on. He leaves this game with what seems to be a pretty serious lower leg injury. On a stretcher is how he leaves this one. You hate to see this, Chandler. How huge a loss, not just for him, obviously, but for the team as well.
Yeah, you never want to see a player get hurt like this, especially a player like him that's a rising star. Look at those numbers. This is a dude that's going to be top 3, top 5 and most improved players. He's part of the huge reason of the success of the Pistons this year and playing 30 games, starting all 30 of those. He kind of was making that jump. So it looks like an injury like this where he's going to be out the rest of the season, but people aren't talking about the Pistons enough because obviously they are what they are and they're not a contending team. But when you look at the success they've had this season compared to last year, the progress, that is what they're looking for. And that's what JB Bickerstaff's given them. They've added some vets around them. The guys like Tobias Harris, guys like Tim Hardaway Jr. They have an absolute stud in Cade Cunningham, and they have an absolute stud in Jaden Ivey. So I really feel for him because clearly he put in the time this summer. He worked on his jumper. He's become a much more improved jump shooter. He's always been athletic and gotten the paint. So this is tough for this to happen because he's having such a great year, and he's a huge piece of what they're doing.
Yeah, the reactions of everyone on the floor, too, is how you knew it was pretty bad. But you know what, Lou? The positive. They had 14 wins last season. And right now already they're at 15 and what did I say? 15-18? 9th in the East. What's the ceiling for this Pistons team this season?
They got a shot. They're playing pretty decent basketball. I think they can sneak in the playoffs. I'm looking here and they're in 9th place. You got Indiana sitting there at 8, 7. They're gonna have to put some pressure on the Miami Heat, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Pacers to kind of get themselves in that conversation. I think 1 through 5, even 1 through 6, I'll give Miami that as well. But they got a lot of catching up to do if they want to get in a position to be a solidified playoff team. They're gonna have to win some basketball games. But right now they're sitting in that play-in, and I think they can put a lot of pressure on one of these teams to try to win 2 games to get themselves in that position. Give these guys credit from the conversation we were having about the Detroit Pistons last year. Opposed to now, a completely different narrative, a completely different conversation. It looked like these young guys are finally gelling together, starting to play good basketball. They look like they enjoy competing with each other. They're a hard-nosed basketball team, just inexperienced. And I think that's been one of their main caveats that they haven't been able to get over yet, just inexperience. So the more that these guys play together, the better they are, and it's been showing. So I think they got an opportunity to sneak in the playoffs in a 7 or 8 position right there, win a game or 2 to get in.
And by the way, what a success that would be for the Detroit Pistons, who had 14 wins last year, to make the playoff, even to make the play-in right now. And that's just crazy. That's all you need in 33 games or whatever, 32 games, for them to already surpass their win total last year. That just shows to me that the additions that they made, and like I said earlier, they added some real vets. The jump of and the rise of Cade Cunningham. This dude is a bona fide star. He's an all-star. He's a no doubt all-star. His numbers, his productive is undeniable. And JB Bickerstaff, I know it's my guy, and I'm a homer for him always, but this doesn't just happen overnight. And all the stuff that he got with the relationships he had in Cleveland and Donovan Mitchell, it's just funny because he goes to a new organization and they seem to be just fine. And then Kenny Atkinson goes to Cleveland and they seem to be just fine. So this seems to be a mutual breakup where it worked out for both. But the Pistons are real, and the Pistons, for them to even be in this conversation of making the playoffs after 14 wins last year, that's huge.
I love it. Love to see a good turnaround.